Chocolate.
Yes, you have some ready. I'll bring this.
Oh, okay, mashallah.
I believe I'm authorized to open this for you.
Okay. Actually, it's open here. You don't have to open
I have
this
another
one.
one for you.
Okay.
That's why I bought this one, because this one is different than that. Give you more of an option.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So which part of Afghanistan that you're originally from?
I'm originally from eastern part. It's called Kunar.
Kunan.
Yes.
MashaAllah.
It's in the border with Pakistan and Afghanistan.
Okay,
Close to
okay,
the border.
okay. Is this what you call it, the Patan area?
Yes, it is.
Oh, so you're Patan?
Yes, sir.
Pashtun?
Yes.
Okay, mashallah. How are you, brother?
Alhamdulillah, how are you? Fine?
How was your Hajj?
Alhamdulillah.
Great, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Shukran.
How's everything?
Alhamdulillah.
I think this year is very light. There's not much people.
Yeah, the number is lesser, I guess.
Yes.
That was very obvious in Tawaf and Sa'i today. But in Arafah, as you understand, that a lot of local people show up at the last minute.
Yes.
Yeah, it was crowded. And also in Mina now, it's very crowded.
Compared to usual, the last
And the
last
roads are
years.
blocked. It took me a lot of time to get here.
Yeah.
It's true.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Salam.
This is for me, thank you. Appreciate it. And how do you know that I like latte? MashaAllah.
This is the second time I'm giving it to you.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Some chocolates also.
Shukran. Jazakallah khair. So chocolate, latte, what a treat, mashallah.
Alhamdulillah.
Delicious, mashallah.
Who doesn't?
My teeth. I've been a chocoholic since I was young, but subhanAllah. You have to take care of yourself, you have to balance yourself.
Assalamu alaikum, brother from Scotland. Alhamdulillah. How are you? You look nice with the bald head, man.
It's weird. You still have hair, but when I touch it, obviously I realise it's not there anymore. It still feels bigger as well.
I know you're dying to see my bald head too. I would show it to you.
This is one thing too.
You can now turn it on, but you will have to keep it in your hand. I'm sorry.
Some of the viewers might not know, why do we shave our hair? The judge and people in Umrah always come back with bald head.
Okay. First of all, every single act and footstep that we take in Hajj or in Umrah is called manasik. It's called nusuk. And a nusuk was explained by Allah the Almighty to Ibrahim and his son Ismail, peace be upon them. When they both finished the construction of the Kaaba, and they invoked Allah as follows. They said, رَبَّنَا وَأَرِنَا مَنَاسِكَنَا وَتُبْ عَلَيْنَا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ التَّوَّابُ الرَّحِيمُ. Yeah, there we build the Kaaba. What is next? Our Lord, show us our Hajj rites, how to perform Hajj and Umrah. And the Prophet ﷺ said, with regards to stoning the Jamarat, الشيطان ترجمون وملة أبيكم إبراهيم تتبعون. So why are we doing this? We're following the deen, the religion, al-Hanifiyya of Ibrahim alayhi salam, which is Islam. So all the nusuk have been prescribed by Allah the Almighty, whether it is a pillar or a mandatory practice, or even if it is a sunnah. Normally, when one is going out, you stand before the mirror, you put the nice cream, you comb your hair. It's like a source of pride, right? And for the sake of Allah, you give away anything. That's why the Prophet ﷺ said, رَحِمَ اللَّهُ الْمُحَلِّقِينَ. May Allah have mercy on those who shave. Not any time. Shaving at any time is up to you. If you want to shave, if you don't want to shave, if you want to trim your hair, it's your choice. As long as you're not doing tashabbuh. But during this time, it becomes an act of worship. It becomes a nusuk. So when you shave, for the sake of Allah, when you shave your head, may Allah have mercy on those who shave. They say, oh, Rasulullah, what about the person who just trims? You know, some people still like to keep their hair.
Especially the shabab, young people.
And those who like to think that they're still shabab. You know, I have some, with us, mashallah, some Americans in the camp. We have Kevin Gates, who is a very famous American robber. He accepted Islam, alhamdulillah, and he's performed Hajj for the first time. I have with me a beautiful brother Stephen. He's an American pilot. Excuse me. He accepted Islam too, and he's performing Hajj. We have many doctors whom they are kind of concerned when they return to their clinics. How they look before the patients. What happened to you? You know, do you have cancer? God forbid. So, as a matter of fact, it's also a wonderful means of giving da'wah. Oh, nice hairstyle. There is no style, actually. I just shaved. Yeah, because I was performing Hajj, you give away something that you love so much for the sake of your God. Yes. And if you were to tell me to do anything, I would be happy to do it without any incitation. Meanwhile, on the fourth...
for الخوص نعالهم كان وقف للخوص لنعال الحجاج.
Even the very ropes or linens of these.
Because if he lose his he cannot walk,
Right.
maybe he cannot come to Hajj. He make work for that.
So everything is covered, basically.
Somebody
even down to
make
the shoelace. Even down to the shoelace.
yeah.
That's amazing.
Somebody will make waqf to water because he don't need. Somebody say, let me walk for like too many waqf do. Let me tell you, in الجزائر,
Algeria.
in Nigeria, with an استعمار الفرنسي,
The French
Colonization.
yeah, you know how many waqf got it for Hajjaj, for Mecca? More than 1,500 waqf to خدمة حجاج بيت الله وخدمة مكة.
What a competition all the time.
If you see how many waqf in the world, you cannot believe me.
Amazing.
You cannot believe.
Amazing.
This one, 1,500, the government France check it. But there is too many waqf. He cannot check it. Maybe lose it. Maybe you don't know like that. But this is in one city.
So this is only calculated by the French government. We don't know how many others could be there.
Yeah. If you see how many waqf, a lot before Al-Haram and Al-Medina like that, nobody makes surface for that. Alhamdulillah, now Saudi government, he take care about that. Before, the mosque Al-Haram, like any mosque in Chad, in Nigeria, it's not like any mosque. Because that the people Hajj, he go to his city and he make waqf for Haram, you know. Before there is nobody help Al-Haram. He say I need make some waqf to help him. He make waqf in Indonesia, in too many places, in Turkish and Egypt and like that. After mashallah the government Saudi to do it and take care about that, the waqf, it is no need to help Haramain, mashallah. Now what we say before, it's mean the maslaha. The benefit. Where is the benefit? If you make waqf in Jazair for khidmat haram, and the government Saudi, he do the haram, must you are, if you are the board, okay, you
true.
change where you bring the money. Maybe now in Al Jazair he needs somebody help him to ticket to come. Okay, change it, no problem. This is what we mean the waqf. Waqf, you cannot change it. But if you do this one, if there is some clause or somebody help you for that,
Something that's better.
okay,
and required.
must you go to another channel.
Yeah. Like for example, medical. Maybe sometimes there's not enough waqf if medical situations.
Yeah.
And they help build a new hospital or something.
Because that we are work a lot of advertising and we come to newspaper and come like that. What we say, please, if you need make waqf, don't say this is waqf for water.
Good. Don't
this waqf
restrict.
for
Don't restrict it.
let it yeah,
General.
yeah,
General.
let it free. Let the board.
What do you call it? وقف عام?
Yeah.
General
waqf.
General الأعمال البر for anything for Muslim good.
Necessity.
Maybe sometime for need medicine, sometime for need study, sometime don't put something to close it.
That's mashallah good.
So
Smart.
This is important
You
thing.
can call it endowment or trust for general charitable work.
You're good.
This really will encompass all matters of good work and righteous deeds. Okay, can we maybe so that the viewers would benefit, inshallah, that they would understand furthermore what we're talking about regarding waqf. If a person doesn't have much wealth, if a person is merely based on an income, a monthly income, a salary every month, and maybe they have the opportunity to save, let's say, 10,000 riyals, $10,000, pounds.
Good.
Is it possible that they can participate in a general
Really good
overall
Good
waqf?
question. Good question.
Thank you very much. Good
Mashallah.
question. Really, mashallah, you are a good leader.
This is because you are a successful leader. I'm getting some of those vibes.
You're going to become younger. You're going to become younger.
Allah, that's a good
Mashallah.
Mumtaz.
Now, alhamdulillah, let me say in Saudi, and I see it in London, and sometime you can make waqf. In Saudi, too many think do it like that. You can make waqf by 1 riyal.
Subhanallah.
Yeah. This is what we say now to too many people in the businessman in the America, Muslim, in like that, in Chad, in Nigeria, and like that. He can do this product. In Saudi now, before, like too many city, you cannot make waqf if you don't have too many million. In Saudi now, 1 riyal you can make waqf.
Mashallah.
Say how? You can go to the bank, you see how many waqf inside the bank. Now that this is a facility, put it in the bank. Okay, what do? There is waqf for Quran. There is waqf for al-birr. There is waqf for support the channels Islamic, like that. There is too many waqf. Only you go, if you don't have it in the account, in the bank, you can ask him and you can pay 1 riyal, 2 riyal, 10 riyal. Let me tell you, mashallah, I listened message from one lady. He go to the school, and his father, he give him every day in the morning 10 riyals to go to the school, like eat breakfast. This lady, it is younger than 18, okay? What she do? Every day, take the 10 riyals, do it waqf. Every day, 10 riyals.
You're not taking the breakfast.
This lady, he make waqf more than al-rajhi waqf, because he make 100% about his money.
Very true. Very
We make maybe 30% or 25%. But this is the important thing.
It's relative to your income.
amazing.
Maybe for her, that's
Yeah.
100% of her income.
MashaAllah.
So it's more ajr, inshallah.
This one, what listening me now, too many people's, mashallah, I listen, more than 4 million see this program. This one is very easy. And I think it's important that Muslim in the world, and he have a lot of money, he can start like مؤسسة خيرية أو جمعية خيرية لهذه
A charitable organization.
Charitable organization. Yes.
organization.
Charitable organization. Yes.
Yeah, this one it is important, and in the too many city, the government he like this one because
Yes.
to support the peoples and like that. It is
Society at
Yeah,
large.
it can start it. I see before in London mosque. He need make extra mosque.
Expansion, renovation, yes.
What he do, he calculate how much the mosque do this one, and he calculate the one pray man, okay, or lady, how many cost.
Oh, good.
And he say in the advertising, if you need make waqf this masjid, only pay this money for one man,
person.
you can give him chance to pray.
Mashallah,
This one
mashallah.
it is good,
Right.
but if you tell him, I need money,
Yeah.
I need like that.
Yeah.
It is, this one is.
And this is good too because majority of the Muslims aren't wealthy.
Yeah.
So in numbers, each one giving 10 riyals, 100 riyals, or $10, $100, it becomes a
They pile
large
up, yes.
sum.
Yeah.
And there's no burden, no problem upon the people.
Yeah,
It's easy
mashallah.
to do.
Let me go to Al-Hajj again, please.
Yes.
Because to service Hajj, because we are Al-Hajj. We like to speak this one because this one's good time.
Definitely.
Within going like that, okay, what happened now? Okay, let me say, because I know these channels and this program, too many government see it from.
Oh, really?
Around the world.
Hi. How you doing?
Now, who's make good a product for work for like that? Malaysia.
MashaAllah, tabarakallah,
Yani
mashallah.
Malaysia, he say, anybody he need go to Hajj, we cut from him like 100 riyals like that. This one to go to accounted to waqf.
MashaAllah, mashallah.
This one make business. Okay, the 100. It's come 110, 102.
Mashallah.
one like that.
Investment.
After that, from this money to help the people to waqf. You know who's the best now from the world come to Hajj? He's a professional. The top government, top peoples, because I have more than 25 years experience in the Hajj. Every year I know, because I know what's happening.
Statistics and figures, yeah.
The top peoples now, in this time, the Malaysia.
MashaAllah, mashallah.
Yani he make professional training the Hujjaj. Before coming, because he have money. You know, if you have money, you can make too many things. You know?
That's true.
He make waqf and like that. This is good idea. I think now every place in every area must check where is my waqf Islam. Maybe I have waqf, but I don't know him within this place. Like Jazair, you take all this waqf and study it, the government with the peoples and like that, and say, let me study this waqf to help Hujjaj. Okay? This one, I think it's very good idea. Every place to. Let me tell you, this is product. Let me say product. This one product for government. Let me give you product for businessman.
MashaAllah.
I know too many businessmen. See me now. Now, I calculate how many costs the people's coming from outside. You know the cost?
How much?
The cost, it is roughly 1,300 million riyals. Okay? I know too many people in the world, Muslim, have a lot of money. A lot. If we calculate this one, the 1,300,000 million riyals, if we calculate it by 13 people, what mean? Each rich man, only I need from him 100 million riyals every year. It's nothing for him. We can make Hajj free for all.
Oh, that's a good
Wow.
idea. MashaAllah, mashallah. I'll help you in that. Sadaqah jariyah.
Please.
MashaAllah, I'll help you in that.
100 million?
No, but I'll do paperwork. You know what, letters.
This
I'll
one,
send emails.
it's mean go back
Jazakallah khairan.
MashaAllah.
before Hajjaj. It's free. Now we try to make Hajj free.
Inshallah.
This one it's easy.
Amin.
Easy for Islamic. Very easy. We have how many Muslim? How many? And I
Muslims,
know
yes.
a lot of businessman Muslim,
MashaAllah.
but he don't know what's the product.
Yes.
MashaAllah.
I think the Huda must he do this product inshallah within 1 year
Inshallah,
to make this product inshallah sana qadima all the Muslim come free.
Amin.
We make one box,
Big goal, but
we bring 1,300 million every year, we finish it. خلاص.
Inshallah, I'm helping you, inshallah.
شيخنا أشكرك على هذا وغير ذلك. I want to just quickly mention that there is no event in the world, there is no religious pilgrimage in the world that is like Hajj. And this is what you touched based on really quickly. So when we travel elsewhere, and I mentioned 2 nights ago about New York and parking, even if you want to park, you have to pay a lot of money in New York or Boston, where I'm from. So you have to pay so much money for even parking. But the Hujjaj that come here, as it is right now, mashallah, they, like you mentioned, they don't even pay for their own food or water. They're getting food, they're getting water, mashallah. May Allah bless the kingdom. Allah yahfadh al-Mamlaka al-Arabiya Saudi, who's doing all of this for the sake of the Hujjaj. This is why your project that you just pitched right now is brilliant and amazing, because it's taking that one step further. And we started with the call of Ibrahim alayhi salam, وَأَذِّن فِي النَّاسِ بِالْحَجِّ يَأْتُوكَ رِجَالًا وَعَلَى كُلِّ ضَامِرٍ يَأْتِينَ مِنْ كُلِّ فَجٍّ عَمِيقٍ, in which the Hujjaj had to pay themselves. They had to struggle, they had to come. At the time Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after that, there was a lot of struggle, there was a lot of money involved. But slowly, every generation, it got easier and easier and easier. And then there was a big jump from the Uthmani time to Saudi time when it became very easy. And the kingdom was able to take care of Haramain. And you know how you said the waqf from Chad or from Nigeria, people stopped making waqf for Haram because already the Haram is taken care of. And they re-diverted their waqf to other places. So this project that you're making, basically, that you're discussing, is going to be brilliant because now the only thing that Hujjaj are paying is for the ticket and for the hotels. And as for food and these things, you know, mashallah, the kingdom is taking really good care of that. For security, the kingdom is taking great care of that. So this project will be basically focusing on their tickets and their hotels. That's it? Is there anything else?
Are you saying everything's free?
Sorry?
Are you saying the tickets free as well? Or are you talking
Where?
about just...
In the project.
Everything is
Included.
In the
Yeah,
project.
meaning the ticket.
From A to Z.
hotel.
From A to Z.
Allahu Akbar.
Yeah, from A to Z. Let me tell you, I give you another chance because I know somebody say maybe like that, but let me give you another chance.
Sure.
Maybe for businessman, it's a good product. Okay, because I am a businessman, I know how
they
to
I think in a certain
Yeah,
way.
Psychology.
Now, if you go to some city like, we don't need say name city,
Okay.
but let me say, what's the cost for Hajj?
To that city.
Yeah,
This is what I'm saying.
it
It's
is
impossible.
cost like 30,000.
Impossible.
But the pay, the ticket, the accommodation, I know it. It is like 10,000. Why take 30,000? This company there in the city.
Business profits.
Yeah. Okay, this one business. But I tell the businessman, okay, come, open company, make it 12,000. Take 20%. Don't make 50% or like that.
Don't be greedy.
Let me push the price go down.
Yes.
This is what we think. This is good project. Let me push the price down because if you need take profit, this one profit, but don't make profit high. Now need the businessman not make building in London, building this building. Okay, it's good business, but if you make this business, you got profit more the building, and you push the price to help the Muslim to Hajj. Why the Muslim pay 30,000 or 40,000 to come to what? Yani we know that I travel too many way. I know the cost. I know the all thing. I know the cost here. I know all thing. It is not like this one. This one, I think, it is important. This is a new product. Must we work for this product? If we cannot bring 1,300 million, but I am sure we can bring
Sheikh
it.
Badr, this is so true.
If we cannot
because-
bring it, we push the price.
This is so true because I know someone just asked me recently from my country. They said, we want to do Hajj so much, but the difference in price of doing Umrah and just coming for Hajj is like incredible difference.
triple the price.
And it scares people because if you're married and you got 7, 8 children, just to pay for fees and education, you can't afford to do it until you're maybe 50 or 60.
Yeah.
So open this opportunity up. The ajr, sadaqah jariyah is huge.
See, Saudi government, he do very, very good. I think. Before 7 years, I write in newspaper, the price al-Hajj take off. And I think it is take too many time to go down. Okay? And I speak too much time about that. Now the government, alhamdulillah, if the government not come to take care, before the price in Saudi going up more than in the world. What he do, the Saudi, he make like the hotel, 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, and put the cap for the price. Now the problem if you go to too many way in the country, there is no cap. Yani I can buy more up like that. This is, I think it is important the government for all, please, to see Saudi what he do the cap and take computers system. Before Saudi, I am Hamla, okay? I bring the people what I need, but must you make now in Saudi, if you need Hamla, there is cap, and not only cap. If you need Hajj, you can. عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله وبركاته.
كيف حال الشيخ عبد الرحيم؟ كيف حال؟ كيف حال؟ زين ما شاء الله، زين ما شاء الله. كل شيء ما شاء الله.
والله شيخ مكارثي ما شاء الله. Welcome back. This is Sheikh Badr Raj.
حياكم الله. الله بعدك. كل عام بخير.
شيخ مكارثي ما شاء الله. اهلا وسهلا. امين. كل عام وانتم طيبين.
الحمد لله ما يهديك.
الله يهديك.
Welcome, brother. Thank you. Welcome. Good.
احنا باقي لنا زي 15 دقيقة.
طيب. ما شاء الله. طيب. حياك الله شيخ.
معلش قطعناكم.
لا تفضل.
Brothers speaking about trusts in Islam, endowments, waqf Islam.
Waqf.
Now I heard someone else say it.
The last thing what we need from the government to make it a computer system. If I need Hajj, no need to bring paper like that, because if you bring paper, maybe I know doctor, I push him and I move this one, I move this one. I need all the government make system like Saudi. What we do, Saudi now make system. If I know my friend, I am the owner Hamla. I need my son with it. I cannot, because if I open system, all the people go direct. Electronic. It is mean cancel all the down payment.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. This is a fair system. A fair system.
Yeah.
It gives everyone a chance.
Questions now?
The waqf, if we speak here, it's mashallah too many things. The time it is.
Yes, before we run out of time, brothers, we'd like to give the opportunity for the floor to ask questions. But please, okay, we have questions already from online. Go ahead, but please, question and brief answer. Question, brief answer, so everybody can get the opportunity. Yalla.
First question says, you descend from a family that is known for charitable work that started from your grandfather, Abdulaziz, and your father, Muhammad, rahimahumullah. Can you please give us a brief history about their charitable work?
Whoa, that's a summary.
Wallah, we cannot, because this question, it is need not halaqa, it is need a lot, but let me say to you, because وقاف الوالد الله يرحمه, my father, this is, I forget to say something, it's very important, because somebody see me now say, I don't have salary, I don't have money, I cannot pay $1.
Good point.
What I do? I need waqf, please help me. Like doctor now, mashallah, now maybe, and today he make waqf more than Rajhi.
MashaAllah.
How? Because in the TV, some millionaire, some businessman, he listen doctor and he make waqf today 2 billion or 3 or like that. It is like that.
May Allah accept from all of us.
If you don't have money, but you have
intention,
if you have speak, you have friends, you have like that, you can help peoples, and mashallah, Allah Azza wa Jal give you like. Who's the man give waqf? Yani this one, it is easy. If you have advertising, if you have anything, you have friend here. Okay, go call him. Say, please, I need to meet you. If you don't know him, please try to meet the businessman, because really, let me tell you my father, because you asked me, because that you. My father, he's sitting like that, he make wasiyah and he close it. Somebody, it is normal, yani mashallah, sheikh, normal. He call him, he say, Muhammad, can I ask you, why you don't do waqf? He say, how waqf? I know wasiyah, I don't know waqf. Wasiyah after die, you do. He say like that. He say, okay, let me make waqf small and we see what's happened. I am afraid for that. He make waqf, continue, he say, good. Okay, let me work waqf. Let me work waqf. He make more, my father, he make more than 20 waqf.
MashaAllah.
Who guide this one? This man, he go to sleep, he's home, he don't know. But now, a lot of
Ajr is on him too.
MashaAllah. Yani this one, it is like that.
Opportunity.
It's very easy.
And this is the risk, you know.
Doctor, you're lucky today.
I ask about that
Ameen,
كلكم.
ameen,
That's
ameen,
good.
mashallah.
Second question here says, maybe the Sheikh can translate from English to Arabic. It says here,
Let me speak about my work father. Alhamdulillah, the work father, he have a lot of waqf and different waqf, okay, because he started within 20 years, but we management the waqf like management my company, the KPIs, how to the future, how could, because the waqf, the important not to give the milk the people, okay, the important how to make the ER, how to make the efficiency about the waqf.
Jazakallah khair, Allah yabarak feek. Second question here says, the first endowment your father did was the schools for memorizing the Quran in the year 1993. And he had his own philosophy about supporting charitable works, and he was concentrating on the return of investment, ROI, in every single endowment he made. Could you please tell us about this philosophy?
MashaAllah, good question.
Someone who knows well about
there is after waqf, MashaAllah, my father, he got to think, I think this is the biggest. The number one, our waqf, it's important for the businessman. After my father, he make the waqf, my factories and my business, it is go more the profit. Yani we cannot think the future, it's come like that.
How?
MashaAllah.
How did that happen exactly?
Yani barakah.
Barakah, okay. The blessings of Allah.
Yani, okay, barakat, peoples, it's come good people, professional people, the business, it's going good. Yani, mashallah, too many things, but I think it is barakah. Yani, barakat waqf, yani, الصدقة بعشر أمثالها. فأعظم الصدقات الوقف. And the number two, this is important, the businessman now to see me, we got very good close family. يعني ما شاء الله يعني صلة الرحم, very close. It's come more because my father, he have a lot of son, a lot of daughter. It's come very close, and ما شاء الله يعني now he's died before 3 years. ما شاء الله, the company, his company for his children is go more quickly, more than what we think. And the waqf, it's go more think. يعني ما شاء الله. Barakat waqf and barakat children and barakat family.
So, Sheikh Badr, just a question. I think a lot of Islamic organizations around the world have a big concern about spreading dawah and supporting the dawah. One of the problems that they have is when they raise money after maybe 10, 20 years of raising funds to build a center, whether it's a masajid or Islamic center or dawah center, they invest the money into the center and the center is struggling. It doesn't do much. What is a good suggestion? Is it better to build the building or build something else on the side, maybe that supports the building? Which is better?
Like a restaurant, for example.
Anything. For example, you might have shops, bakeries or something else that maybe generate money for the center and then build the center, or build the center first and then trying to build the business to support the center.
يقول مثلا ممكن احسن الشيخ يترجم.
كفاءة التشغيل قصده الشيء الذي يكون ريعه يرجع للوقف بدل ما يعتمد على شيء قابل للاستهلاك. ريع يرجع على الوقف كذلك ليضيف إليه ويضيف إليه.
هو دائما ما يبني مثلا المسجد أو المركز الإسلامي يجمع أموال 10 سنوات 20 سنة بعدين يبني المسجد ثم العمل يتعبون يعني في الاستمرارية. فيقول له في وقف جانبه حتى هو يكون داعم للمال.
ريعه يرجع.
أنا we make before in Europe I go there to too many people in Europe. We make meeting how to make work for future for this business and like, and what's happened in Gharb about this one, because the problems now in Europe, there is the Markaz Islamic, it's go down because the people, the old people, he not pay money, and I study this one very well, and I have presentation more than 45 minutes. We don't have time.
Inshallah, we'll do it next time. Next time. But what's the best way? What's the best way to do it?
Is it best to have
the best way? I think in must you make a group from the businessman and businesswomen to start to make waqf to help this mosque or help like that, but not only Hollanda, because Hollanda and France and Germany, it's together very close. You know Germany and France and Italy, it is all like Saudi. It's very small. I tell the people, must you are go together, close together, and you go, who's the Muslim or Muslimah, who's the rich, you go to give him information.
So go to the business people to support the situation, and then the money from this to build the centers.
Yeah, to building and like that. Like.
Okay, but what about if we don't have that?
I have big project. It is important in Europe. It's good to say it now. The Islam people, a lot of people, he need like سميته أنا, we make the name نادي المسلمين في أوروبا.
Call to the Muslims.
Yeah, because Al-Huda, he need like channel, he need make for too many people. He go to this way, you can take like 1 million meter or like that. This one waqf for all Europe.
Okay.
Every weekend you have problems. If you are Germany Muslim, you have problems in the weekend. You need fresh area, clean area. You need go to good areas. You can come here by train, or your children and your wife come to here, play football, swimming.
Big Islamic center resort.
This one it is
Nadi
important.
is club, not
Okay, the Nadi club.
Yeah, it is. This one in Europe, it is very, very important. And I can take from this gentleman from London, this only $1 or $10 or
Subhanallah.
$5. It is very, very good
Islamic
business.
resort.
Yeah, and you don't make home.
No.
The home, I study all the project. You can make, if he coming, he can take like the cars. It's stroll in the garden. He can take the car and he sleep, his wife and his children. Wow. You don't need make building.
A caravan.
Caravan. You don't need make building because
like khayma, زي khayma.
But
like a tent.
In Europe, there is very easy to make it
on wheels.
Like this one.
Yeah,
you go in any way to take it. And you make swimming pool for children, for like that. Because you have problem in the weekend. All Europe people, I listen to too many. He's have problems. You have more. How many? Only Turkish in Germany, more than 500,000 in Berlin. Okay, if you see this Muslim, he need like this. If you take 5% from Europe, you can close the club.
MashaAllah.
Jazakallah khair. That's a very beautiful idea. I love
Thank you.
MashaAllah, I don't think we have enough time.
No? Jazakallah khairan. Barakallah
We'll
feek.
give the opportunity for Sheikh Badr to give us advice and close with this.
Sorry.
Give it back to Sheikh Makar.
Thank you very much.
كلمة
الله يعطيك
تذكيرية.
عموما حنا مبسوطين. We are happy for this meeting.
MashaAllah.
And alhamdulillah, the Hajj, alhamdulillah, thank you for the government Saudi, what he do for Al-Hajj, really. He do this year a lot of things to come smoothly and very good. And alhamdulillah, it is very nice. And thank you for King Salman. Thank you for all things. And I think it's important to make dua for the government and the people work, because the people work, he need from you and from me how to make dua. And thank you very much for Sheikh Hamad Al-Ghammas to support Qanat Al-Huda and support the Al-Huda now for his building now. This building, it is important to speak for that. Please.
It's waqf itself.
This is the biggest holiday inn hotel in the world.
Wow.
Yeah, this is waqf.
MashaAllah.
You know, for Sheikh Hamad.
MashaAllah.
This is must we speak. You know,
I
love the waqf.
We're
because
living
that
in an
they go
example
back.
right now. This is a good
Exactly
example
right.
of what we're talking about.
It's ironic.
Yes,
MashaAllah.
yes, indeed.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
Jazakallah
Yani, see now this waqf take profit and help Hudaj Islam.
So, yes,
MashaAllah.
so I'd like to also further, inshallah, extend our appreciation to Sheikh Badr al-Rajhi, and the family of al-Rajhi are very well known, alhamdulillah, whether in Saudi or abroad for their work, their charitable work. And this is really something that brings one to a satisfied state when they know, alhamdulillah, that there are families, there are people, individuals and families that are really concerned with advancing the Islamic call. And again, Sheikh Hamad Al-Ghammas is amongst those who we know is very concerned about this. And the building we're in right now, may Allah reward him, is part of this. Again, we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to favor us and them in the works for the sake of Allah, and to provide for this ummah a revival and a sound revival through its learned men, through its wealthy men, through its du'at, through its rulers, and inshallah by this ummah will rise to its proper place by the will of Allah. And we'll excuse ourselves. Me and Sheikh Badr are going to step away and give it to Sheikh McCarthy.
مع السلامة. جزاك الله خيرا بارك الله فيك. شكرا مع السلامة. جزاك الله خيرا. مع السلامة. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I'm not invited.
You're with me, man.
Unfortunately. Count me in. How's it going, Sheikh?
Alhamdulillah. Now gonna have to have a Canadian, man. all the Aussie accent. You know,
That's kind of annoying, right?
كيف حالك Sheikh Ibrahim? How's everything?
Good, alhamdulillah.
How's Jumrat? Good?
I was excellent, man.
MashaAllah,
Very good,
alhamdulillah.
Now, subhanAllah, and speaking about what Sheikh Badr was talking about, I was just talking to the brothers outside that, you know, this year, it's absolutely been amazing, the tandeem, the way things have been organized.
The smoothness.
Yeah.
The amount of people who are out there working to serve the Hujjaj, from the volunteers, from the police force, the army, the locals here from Mecca.
Yeah,
It's
mashallah.
absolutely amazing. And, you know, just doing things that they don't have to do. It's not part of the job. I mean, going around just, I mean, and you probably all of you have felt it, like getting that spray of water in the face when it's very hot and you need it.
Beautiful.
And he comes and he sprays that water in your face and just like, wow, that felt good, you know. And that's not his job. It's not part of his job, but he's doing that out of the goodness of his heart.
With a smile on his face also.
Yeah. They're all smiling. Yeah. And this is one of the things, because usually, you know, sometimes you find, I can imagine, you know, being out there
all day
in your full military gear, and it's hot in this, and people and crowds. I think myself, you know, for me, first few hours I could be very friendly, but after that I think
you get aggro.
But they're always like smiling, so it feels beautiful to see. And how you know, just
and
how,
the motivation, you know, Sheikh Abdurrahim, the motivation when they do it, you say Jazakallah khairan, and then say make dua for me, nothing else. All they want is the ajr, sadaqah jariyah. They want Allah to be pleased with them.
Every time we're walking past them, I have a group of sheikhs with me and other people who are in the group I'm with, and we're always making dua for them as we walk past them, and you can see how happy they are to receive that dua from the Hajj, and they're making dua for us.
Wallah, it's true.
It's amazing.
And they know the benefit of dua, especially in Mecca. They can be poor. Sometimes you have a friend that is very poor. You say, make dua for me.
Yeah.
He doesn't say, give me money. He says, make dua for me. You get another city, they'll say, give me money. You say, make dua for me.
It's amazing. I mean, I've really been impressed. Alhamdulillah, they've made it in a way where it's very organized, and we have to, you know, be thankful. You know,
Sorry, I'm just going to...
I've been summoned.
Bismillah, no problem.
Come in closer, boys. Come in.
So, alhamdulillah, to be thankful for all of the, you know, the way things are organized.
I would like to have a question with you about the Hajj, you know. So first of all, I have to give my introduction before to the in front of camera or to the TV channel. I'm Muhammad Jamil from Burma. I think you have a time first time you're hearing me from Burma. I'm really very.
You live in Burma now, or you
No, I live in Jeddah, but I came from Jeddah here all the way to. Mashallah, I'm very like this channel, very fascinating channel around the world. And it's very nice time with you in front of you because I always used to watch your program of fake and like this kind of thing, but I don't really remember what actually your program is, you know. Alhamdulillah, my question is today to you is that how about the people who are amazing and crazy about I have done big Hajj al-Kubra, if they get chance to be a part of Arafat during the Friday. Do you understand me? If they see the Hajj is in Friday, they tell the Hajj al-Kubra. You understand me, Sheikh?
I mean,
what is the meaning of the Hajj al-Kubra?
People are saying that if Hajj on Friday, this is called Hajj Akbar.
In South Continental, not in Arab country or in Saudi Arabia, because they are expert in it.
What's happened there is because the Hajj that the Prophet ﷺ did, it happened on a Friday. Okay, so if it happens that the day of Arafah comes on Friday, and also the Friday is the best day of the week at the same time. So you have those two components, along with the fact that you're on the day of Arafah. It makes it obviously, inshallah, perhaps a greater blessing, inshallah ta'ala, because it's alhamdulillah, the day of Arafah is always a blessing. It's always you know, as the Prophet ﷺ said, he said, it's the most day that people get freed from the hellfire is the day of Arafah. And he said the best dua is the dua of the day of Arafah. So, alhamdulillah, any day that it happens, it's khair and barakah, it's blessing, and whatever day happens, alhamdulillah, it's all good. But I mean, obviously, if it happens on the day that the Prophet ﷺ did his Hajj on, which is on the day of Friday, which is the best day of the week, that's also something amazing as well, alhamdulillah.
Another one is that some people who are namely Muslim, you know, do not do Islamic Sharia and don't stay on. Can I remember by his name? Is he Muslim or not? whenever he say I'm Muhammad or something like I'm Abdullah.
It depends what he does.
During within the kuffar, so many kuffar, his name is Muslim.
Yeah, it depends actually what exactly the action that he's doing. If he's doing something which makes a person leave the fold of Islam.
For example, in Europe,
if it doesn't matter if in Europe or in Burma or in Saudi, wherever he is. If he's doing things which go against Islam, that and he nullifies one in Islam, then he leaves Islam. But if it doesn't, if it's a type of fisq, a type of disobedience that doesn't nullify one's Islam, then he would be considered somebody who's a fasiq, somebody who's disobedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but he wouldn't be considered a non-Muslim.
Yes.
So you have, for example, from the pillars of Islam, if somebody leaves them, if somebody doesn't pay his zakat,
yes,
or if somebody doesn't fast Ramadan or doesn't go for Hajj and he has the ability to do so, all of these would be considered somebody who is fasiq, he's somebody who's committing a major sin, he's in danger, but you wouldn't consider him to be a non-Muslim. However, when it comes to the prayer, the salat, as the Prophet ﷺ made it very, very clear, he said, الْأَهْدُ الَّذِي بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَهُمُ الصَّلَاةُ فَمَنْ تَرَكَ فَقَدْ كَفَرَ. That the covenant that is between us and them is the prayer, and whoever leaves it, he has committed an act of kufr. Another hadith, he said, بَيْنَ الرَّجُلِ وَبَيْنَ الْكُفْرِ تَرْكُ الكُفْرِ وَالشِّرْكِ تَرْكُ الصَّلَاةِ. Between a man and leaving, between kufr, disbelief, and shirk, is leaving the prayer. And obviously we know from the narration of Ibn Shaqiq that the companions of the Prophet ﷺ never saw anything from the actions leaving them to be an act of disbelief other than the prayer. Therefore, we say the prayer has a different status. So it depends, obviously, what somebody does. If somebody has shirk in their worship, they call on other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they worship other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And during the days of Hajj, we're reminded of the importance of having the ikhlas, the sincerity in our ibadah when we worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَصَلِّ لِرَبِّكَ وَانْحَرْ. Pray to your Lord and slaughter to your Lord. And this is what happens during these days. We're praying for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're making Hajj for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're offering the udhiyah if we're not here, if we're not on Hajj. And if we're on Hajj, we're offering the hadi. All of these sacrifices are for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a form of ibadah. So all of these things remind us of the importance of the ikhlas in our worship during these days, alhamdulillah.
Sheikh, I have a question also. Let's suppose that I have $30,000, not dollars, reals, in my account.
Okay.
And what will give me more ajr? Give it to my poor relatives or open a waqf with it?
You know, I think it depends on what the waqf is and depends on the situation of your relatives. Yeah, I mean,
they're poor, the poor ones.
Yeah, but I mean, always what you can try to do, you can try maybe to do a little bit of both.
50-50.
Yeah, help them out a bit and try to make a waqf.
Okay.
Because as you heard, as I was coming in, I heard that Sheikh Badr was talking to you guys, and we were talking about the importance of the waqf, because what waqf is, it's sadaqah jariyah.
Okay.
Also, you have to look at it, because like each individual situation, it's different. Because you have some people that are poor, and if you give them money, it really benefits them. And then, even more so, sometimes you have some people who are poor, like some of the du'at, some of the scholars. When you give to them, and you assist them, that's a form almost like of sadaqah jariyah as well. Because now when he's free to focus on giving da'wah and teaching the ummah, you're getting part of that reward in return, aren't you? So you have to look at the situation and see, you know, where is the most ajr. So even any issue we were talking about recently, that people who want to come for Hajj all of the time, sometimes if you've already done your fard Hajj, maybe helping somebody else go for Hajj, or helping out with the money you would take for Hajj to give us for something else, it could be actually more reward as well. Because obviously everybody can't come for Hajj these days. It's difficult, you know, with this. So if you open up for other people, you can actually get more reward. The niyyah, alhamdulillah, the intention is very powerful, alhamdulillah. So how was your Hajj? Everybody had a good Hajj, alhamdulillah?
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
This was your first Hajj, Akhi, or?
No, this was my third. Alhamdulillah.
What about you? The first, I was remembering one of you was the first Hajj, mashallah. And how did you find it, mashallah?
I am too much excited.
Alhamdulillah.
And also I'm thankful to Allah and Huda TV also. I did this opportunity, and alhamdulillah I did the Hajj. I am happy also, but my entire family is too much happy.
Alhamdulillah.
Because I am the first one, and my father's side, my family, I am the one that did the Hajj, alhamdulillah.
May Allah accept from all of us.
My father wished he had the Hajj, but unfortunately he have not get the opportunity to do Hajj. But alhamdulillah I did Hajj.
So when I was in the university, I used to go for Hajj a lot in Medina. And then when I left, I hadn't made Hajj since 1425, meaning in 12 years. And I just, with all the traveling and the work that I've been doing, and it just didn't happen, subhanAllah.
What's the difference that you saw between the Hajj that you done previously and now?
I'll tell you something. We had a a very good time last night at the Jamarat because it's the first time I've seen the new one. The last time I thought it was the old one, with the one with the crowds and the people.
The hole.
Yeah, the small hole.
Circle, yeah.
So I was with one of the scholars from Kuwait last night, and we were coming together, and we were walking through. And as we came up to the thing, he said, "So this is the first time you've seen it like this, huh?" And I said, "Yes, it's the first time." He said, "Shaitan's gotten very big, huh?" we had a good laugh about that one. He said,
4 levels.
Shaitan got much bigger, huh?
4 levels.
Yeah, 4 levels, and it's huge now. The thing, Before it was like this small, or probably like this big or something, And now it's huge. I said, Shaitan has gotten much bigger. That's the last time you saw it. So the good thing is, and unfortunately, a lot of people they have this misconception or this understanding that they're throwing at Shaitan. And a lot of the problems that happen, this year I found that the Hujjaj in general, it's amazing. Not just the organization of the Saudi government, they've done a fantastic job, really, really.
Absolutely.
To answer your question, the thing I know is the difference. It's really well organized. Yeah. As you could see, I'm from the ones who are going on the train. This is for the train. Yeah, I'm using the train back and forth. So, and even the way they have it organized, there's no way we can push one another.
No.
We wait in line, and then once that group gets on the train, then the other group that's waiting comes in, and then the group that comes after them comes in. It's amazing. You might have to wait some time, it's true, because a lot of people, but at least you're safe. Okay, at least there's no, and there was the beautiful thing was, the whole time we were there, we never heard any complaint from any of the Hujjaj. Wow. And even the way they were treating us, all of the police officers and the workers there, very good. And it was a joint, working together.
Yes.
Because this is what people have to understand. The Saudi government, they're the ones who are in charge. But it's a team effort because Mecca and Medina is for all of us. We're Muslims.
Yes.
So just because they're the ones who are the ones in charge of running it, doesn't mean that we don't put our hands together and work with them. Because at the end, all of us, we want the Hajj to be a success. Yeah. So we all come together and we work together. And we think about, look at the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he said, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. None of you believes. This is iman. I mean, you don't have true iman. None of you truly believes until he loves for his brother what he loves for himself. So all of these Hujjaj, these are our brothers and sisters. So we want the good for them. It's true. We're tired. We want to get to the place first. But we have to memorize that. We have to remember that we want the good for all of us. So we work together, and all of them out there now, night and day, nonstop, and just the numbers that are out there, it's amazing. Everywhere you go, you see that, and they're organized. It's very well organized. This is one of the things that I really noticed. And now how the Jamaat is now, obviously, the way you come, there's no way you can have the way you come in on the bridge and then go down. Yeah. It's a bit of a walk. It's good exercise. And I say, alhamdulillah, with each step we're getting ajr, alhamdulillah. And this has been, even for myself, it's your first Hajj. But for me, not having been for so long, wallahi, on the day of Tarwiyah, when I was putting on my ihram, it was like, like a kid on the day of Eid, with his new clothes. I was so happy, I couldn't believe it. And when you've been so many times in the past, you wouldn't think, this is like, it's amazing feeling, Ismail. Just as I'm going through and I'm finally here, I'm back, it was absolutely amazing. It was a very great experience, alhamdulillah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make the next few days
Sheikh,
just as good, alhamdulillah.
There's another question from me is that, if I intend this time, if for the dawah, invitation to Islam, it's acceptable for me that I feel it's time for the dawah, that I'm giving dawah to other people, whether non-Muslim or Muslim. Do you understand me?
What's the question about the dawah?
The question about the dawah. How about the dawah that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told us you have to be a dai like me? Am I right, sir?
Yeah, I mean, the Prophet ﷺ, he said to relay the message, even if it's just one verse. And obviously, in the types of da'wah we have, giving da'wah to our Muslim brothers and sisters, and giving da'wah to non-Muslims as well. So there's two parts of da'wah, and always what I recommend for the people, you can get involved in each one of them, especially if you're living in a non-Muslim country. Obviously, you have your Muslim neighbors, non-Muslim neighbors, so we have to share the message with them. So this is very important that we relay the message to them. And the best way to give da'wah, people ask us a lot of times, what is the best way to give da'wah? And people always want to come up with we come up with like a new strategy and a new this and new that. So the first thing, the first key component to being successful in da'wah is acting upon Islam. If we were just to all act upon Islam, you would see the world start to change through da'wah. Because when you implement the akhlaq and the manners of our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, It's going to have an effect on you as an individual, and then it's going to have an effect on those who are around you. And then people want to know, why are you different? Because this is what makes it. We have the final revelation sent to mankind. We follow the best man to ever have walked on the face of this earth, our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Therefore, people have to see that difference in us, in me, in my manners, my akhlaq. And then they're going to know, why do you, oh, I'm Muslim. Why do you do this? Oh, because I'm Muslim. And this opens up, without even saying a word, you're giving da'wah. Then after that, obviously, focusing on what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and what the Prophet ﷺ and all the prophets before him focused on, which is the message of calling to at-tawheed, calling to the pure Islamic monotheism. Because this is the clear difference that we have between us and the non-Muslims. If you go to any other religion, no other religion has pure monotheism, pure tawheed, except for us. We're the only ones. I mean, we could probably say that. So this is the difference. So we have to show them the difference between us and between them. And subhanAllah, many times now, people, when they come to give da'wah to non-Muslims, they're very confused about how to do it. So many people want to debate. And many people want to come in to prove that their religion is wrong. And this is one of the biggest mistakes you can make in da'wah. Even though some of the people, and many of the brothers here are with me, we're not going to mention any names. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of our brothers who have given da'wah before us and put in the scale of good deeds. But immediately we think about some people who would debate and refute and give it to the non-Muslims and show how the falsehood they have. And many of the Muslims like that. But that actually goes against the teachings of the Quran. This type of way goes against the teaching of the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us how to وَجَادِلْهُمْ بِالَّتِي هِي أَحْسَنُ. And you need to have discuss with them, debate with them, and that which is the best of ways. So to going into debating and proving they're wrong, that's not the correct way. Also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَا تُسُبُّوا الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ. Do not curse those who make dua to other Allah. فَيَسُبَّ اللَّهِ. So they will come back and they will curse Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. عَدْوًا بِغَيْرِهِ. And as in a form of aggression without knowledge. And we found that what happens when you come and you want to prove somebody that they're wrong in their religion, what happens to them is they hold more to it.
Aggressive and resistant.
And then they don't even listen to you after that. So if we come like that, then it's actually causing more harm than good, because our objective from giving the da'wah is to relay the beautiful message of Islam to non-Muslims. Not to come and prove that you're wrong. We want to show the beauty that we have and why they're in need of that, and how this can help them to find salvation and peace of heart and mind in this life, and then success in the hereafter as well. Okay, so this is the misconception that many of the people working in da'wah have. They don't know how to give da'wah. The key thing now, if you come to somebody and debate with them, and the common question about Islam, what are they going to ask you, a non-Muslim? They're going to come and ask you about issues of jihad, extremism, 4 wives. This is always the thing. Don't worry, we're out of ihram now, so we can talk. So these type of things are going to come all the time. And this type of thing, they're never going to be able to understand unless they understand the concept of Islam. What is the core? Which is the tawheed. They have to understand the basis of Islam. They have to understand how a Muslim thinks, and that is what Islam really means. Many people who give da'wah don't even know what the word Islam means. They come and they translate it as peace. That's not the meaning of the word Islam. The word of Islam means to submit, submission. It's the Islam, that you submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, and when we call the people, and they have to understand this form of Islam, this form of submitting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in order to be able to understand why Muslims do what they do, why they think like they think. If you come now and you try to convince them about the issue of 4 wives, our women have difficulty taking it, and they're believers. You're going to convince another woman who's not a Muslim? It doesn't work. But once they understand the concept of Islam and the fundamentals of Islam, then it becomes very easy to understand that. And that's why we always have to go back to the issue of Tawheed, the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His right to be worshipped, the fact that He sent a messenger, sent the revelation for us to be able to understand how to live our lives. Then after that, they can understand it, inshallah ta'ala, in a better way. It's important if somebody wants to give da'wah that you do not speak about that which you don't know. It's very dangerous in Islam. Many people who are getting involved in da'wah, they don't know what they're talking about, and they cause more harm than good. So it's important that you study, but that doesn't mean you don't give da'wah. Don't give. If shaitan fools some people, say, you don't have knowledge, don't give da'wah. No, you can give a small something. You can have a business card. Always now, if I would have my wallet with me, it's not with me now, but if I had, I would show you that always I have a business card with me. I'm in Mecca, so everybody's Muslim. I don't need it, alhamdulillah. But when I travel anywhere, I always have that's the smallest thing you can do. You can always what? You can always give them a business card with a website. For example, one of the best websites that we use, which is onereason.org. Very good website.
I know that website.
Yeah, very good for, especially when it comes to those who don't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We also have like Islam religion is .com.
Yeah,
also
yeah,
very
Sheikh,
good.
another one question is this. Alhamdulillah, this a chance by luck, I don't know what. So many kuffar, yeah? So many kuffar from India, from Pakistan also.
It's okay, we don't have to mention names.
Also, I have around some friends, a little bit friend, you know, kuffar. But I do as I can do for Islam. You know, sometimes I give them dawah, I show them, but they don't want to hear so much about that thing. It's enough for us. It's enough. We obey one God, and you know. And even I go abroad on travel around Saudi Arabia, like Jeddah or another country, Riyadh, with them. Whenever I have chance to pray, I go to pray, leaving them. You know, I only can show them this kind of thing. What more I have to do with
Allah
them?
says in the Quran, وَمَا عَلَى الرَّسُولِ إِلَّا الْبَلَاغِ. It's only on the messenger to relay the message. That's the messenger. So it's only upon you to relay the message. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, إِنَّكَ لَا تَهْدِي مَنْ أَحْبَبْتَ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ يَهْدِي مَنْ يَشَاءُ. You don't guide who you please, Allah guides who He pleases. So it's upon us to relay the message, to plant the seeds. We have to realize when we give da'wah, what are we? We're farmers. When you farm and you plant the crops, what happens? Is it guaranteed that it's going to grow?
No.
No, even if you do everything. It's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah. So we plant the seeds.
Yes.
All we have to do is plant the seeds. And we have
Good
to remind.
idea.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, we have to remind because the reminder benefits the believers. So we remind. We relay the message. If somebody accepts, alhamdulillah. If they don't accept, it's not up to us.
Right.
The Prophet ﷺ, he's the best of da'is, the best of du'at. Alayhi salatu wasalam. His own uncle, and how close was he? Abu Talib loved Rasulullah ﷺ more than he loved his own children.
Yes.
Our Prophet ﷺ was closer to his uncle than his own sons.
Yes.
Even with this, he refused to accept the message.
Yes.
And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said very clearly, إِنَّكَ لَا تَهْدِي مَنْ أَحْبَبْتَ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ يَهْدِي مَن يَشَاءُ. You don't guide who you please. Allah, He guides who He please. So all we have to do is plant the seeds. And one of the beautiful things, when I was mentioning a story last night in one of my talks, an amazing story that happened to me about a sister who accepted Islam. I was giving a course in South Africa explaining the 99 names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it was very interesting. The first day we had a group from the Catholic Church who attended with us. And they said, do you have a problem with him? I said, of course, let him come, no problem. We want the khair. Everybody like to hear the good that we have. At the end, as we were leaving, I heard the brothers asking him, and I met them when we were leaving at the end of the first day. It was a 2-day course, 8 hours, 16 hours. So I was leaving the first day. They said, what do you think? And they said they were absolutely amazed. They said, we've never heard anything in the church like this about God. Of course. We're taking one name and going into detail about the meanings and the effect and the impact it has on you as an individual and how we can benefit from this name of Allah's beautiful name, subhanAllah. And he was absolutely amazed. The second day, they came to me and they said there's a sister who has really been, she's been impacted, she's been affected by the course. She wants to take her shahada, she wants to enter Islam. She attended 2 days of the course, it was towards the end of the second day, and she wasn't a Muslim. She was inspired during the course, she wanted to accept Islam. So maybe I can say now that, mashallah, I'm an amazing teacher. I did very good, so mashallah, Allah helped me open. But it wasn't actually me. When I know the whole story, it was somebody else who planted the seeds. Then she came at the end and heard what I had to say. It affected her, but the seeds had already been planted beforehand. And then she accepted Islam. What happened? Some amazing story. We talk about the importance of da'wah. This story is absolutely amazing. One of our sisters, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on her. Rahimahullah ta'ala.
Ameen.
From a beautiful family, all of them were very active in da'wah, her brothers and sisters. During Ramadan, from South Africa, during Ramadan, she kept feeling like some pain in her stomach, didn't know what it is. Waited till the end of Ramadan, went through all of these tests, and found out that she had cancer. And it had spread throughout the body, and there was really nothing they could do at this stage. It reached like the end. And all they could do is make it easier for her, to relieve some of the pain until her time comes. with this, knowing that you're about to die, I mean, that's not, all of us know we're going to die eventually, but we have this false hope that we're going to live for a long time, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what, makes us sometimes even go astray from the path because we think we still have time. But here she knows she's about to die. That's difficult to face, She's only 24 years old. Wow. So and this is the beginning of her life and this. So subhanAllah, here she was very high-spirited. Her iman, her belief was very strong. So she was in her hospital room with this sister who took shahada with me during the course. What did she do? She didn't say, I'm about to die, let me just make my dhikr and make my istighfar. She was giving da'wah to the sister, teaching her. And she was amazed how she could be so high-spirited, have such strong faith, even in such a difficult situation, and how she could be so convinced with her religion that she's relaying the message even when she's on her deathbed. SubhanAllah. So she's relaying the message. Then a relationship happened between our sister's family and this sister, and they continued with her 6 months afterwards. She came to my course, and she took what? Her shahada. So here we see the issue of what? Planting the seeds. Yeah. You never know what's going to happen. Somebody, when I became Muslim, somebody gave me some books. I didn't read the books right away. 2 months later, I remember to have the books. I had nothing better to do. I was 18 years old, I said, let me read the books. I was bored. Yeah. I was at my grandparents' house and nothing to do there, so I said, let me read the books. I read the book. Next day, I became Muslim. Wow. So all you do is all we have to do is plant the seeds, and then, and the good comes from Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. But we act upon our Deen. We know our Deen. We know what it means. We know how to give da'wah, and then just plant the seeds. Inshallah, the khair and the blessings will come. Inshallah.
Sheikh, I have a question. Some of us are seekers of knowledge. What are the ways that you will recommend for us to seek knowledge?
Jazakallah khair. The key, obviously, first of all, is ikhlas. Okay. Have sincerity in seeking knowledge. Not to be from the scholars. And one of the things, it's one of the beautiful things that Imam Ahmed rahimahullah mentioned about how to have the correct niyyah. And how do you know if you have the correct niyyah? He said, أن تنوي أن ترفع الجهل عن نفسك ثم عن غيرك. That you intend to raise the ignorance from yourself and then on the others. This is the intention when you start to seek knowledge. That I want to make sure that I'm not somebody who's jahil, not somebody who's ignorant. And then I want to make sure that I can remove this jahl, this ignorance from other people as well. That's when you start giving da'wah. Because learning is not just for yourself. Absolutely. You learn for yourself in the beginning. That's the beginning. And every Muslim needs to know the basics of his deen. Okay, so that's the key thing. After that, you need to look at the basics. A lot of time what happens is that people want to get involved in big things and big issues and issues that strong students of knowledge are involved in or scholars are involved in, and it's something that's above his level. And when he gets involved in these or gets involved in differences of opinions and like this, you'll find that he's in like in a maze and never getting out of it. But when you learn the basics. And what do we mean the basics? For any Muslim, because طلب العلم فريضة على كل مسلم. There's something very important that everybody needs to know. The viewers need to be reminded of this as well. All of us remind ourselves that seeking knowledge is compulsory upon every Muslim. It's the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. It's not an optional thing. But what is it that's wajib? Does that mean that every individual must become a scholar? No, that's not the meaning of the hadith. What's meant by the hadith is that you, as Imam Malik said, ما كان فرضا عليك في يومك وفي ليلتك. What is compulsory upon you in your night and day. For example, now we came for Hajj. We talk about a lot of the accidents and other problems. It comes from ignorance. So here, when you come for Hajj, the viewers at home, if they've never been for Hajj, or if they don't have the ability to go for Hajj, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for all of the ummah to go for Hajj. But if they don't have the ability, is it fard upon them to know the rulings of Hajj? Is it compulsory upon them to know what are the arkan, what are the essential components that they're for, and he has to memorize it? No. If he knows it's a good thing, but he doesn't have to know because he doesn't have to, go for Hajj. Also, when it comes to the issue of az-zakat, if you don't have money and you're poor, do you have to know how to pay zakat? Is it a must? No, because you don't have money. Is it good to know? Yes. So fasting in Ramadan, do you have to know the rulings? Yes, because everybody has to fast in Ramadan. If you're sick, then what do you do? And if you can't fast? Or the 5 daily prayers, is there any excuse? No. The making of the wudu, what breaks the wudu, how to make a proper ghusl, is there any excuse? No. So these are what's compulsory upon you in your night and day. Let's say, for example, now, if you are a doctor, a medical doctor, and the brother, he's a businessman, for example. You're a businessman.
No, I'm not.
Maybe Allah will open for you. So it's compulsory upon you to know what transactions are halal and haram. Brothers come to us after they get involved in haram transactions for a long time, and they say, Shaykh, is this halal? So now you ask, Bismillah. If you're in this, it becomes fard upon you to know what is halal and what is haram when you do it. Each person, you have to see, so this is the basics for everybody. It's important on a student of knowledge that you get the basics. After you get down the basics, then you obviously focus on the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, making sure you read it correctly, memorizing as much as you can, and then following the way of the scholars, studying the basics in fiqh and aqidah and hadith and tafsir and what have you, in the same way that they used to do it. And you have to realize, a few things. First of all, that seeking knowledge is not easy. Seeking knowledge is not easy. As some of the scholars used to say, and Yahya ibn Abi Kathir is who used to say it, he said that لا ينال العلم براحة الجسد. That seeking knowledge, he said you cannot gain knowledge through having your body be relaxed.
Okay.
So you're not going to be chilled out and just sitting back and it's going to come to you, the ilm is going to come to you. You have to work.
Like
and as people don't understand, when we were in the university, we were, sometimes we had lessons after Fajr. We had 5 lessons in the university. After Asr, sometimes after Maghrib, sometimes Isha. One time when I counted it, I never counted it before. I want to see how much I was doing. During the university days, we had 25 periods. Our university, by the way, it changed now. But the old system used to be, like really crazy, the amount of hours that we had. No university in the world had this. So actually, when they added up the hours that we were studying more than almost like it would be equal like 6-7 years at another university. It's a 4-year program because that was how many hours we were studying. So subhanAllah, we had 25 periods of like 50 minutes to an hour each every day in the morning. Outside, I noticed that I had 25 halaqas outside with different sheikhs and different subjects as well. So about 50 halaqas in 1 week. Okay? On top of that, you have to revise. On top of that, you have to, because if you really want to gain knowledge, if I'm going to go to it, what happens now is a lot of times we go to the knowledge, to study with the sheikh, for example. What do? We go and we listen. We might write down a few things, and then we don't open up the book again. Now here we made 2 mistakes. If you really want to gain knowledge, you have to prepare yourself and read before you go about the subject. So when the sheikh talks about the subject, you have an idea what he's talking about. It's not like one of those things, you're like, wow, what is this? Never heard of this before. So you don't really grasp it. But if you understood a bit from what you read, then he explains, oh, okay, now I understand it. But there's still one issue. Then you can ask about that. And then you're supposed to, when you go home, you review as well. Review what you studied. So it's a constant thing. You have to put in hours and hours if you want to be able to get it. That's why you find not many people reach. One of the glad tidings that we'll give to you and to all of the viewers is the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because some people get scared. You hear this, it's a difficult thing. Say, alhamdulillah, the Jannah is a difficult path, isn't it? SubhanAllah. The hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he said, من سلك طريقا يلتمس فيه علما سهل الله له طريقا إلى الجنة. Whoever takes a path to seek knowledge, that Allah will make easy for him a path to the Jannah. So the scholars mentioned something beautiful about this. The Prophet when he said, "Man salaka," whoever takes the path. He didn't say whoever gains knowledge.
That's true.
So whether you gain it or not at the end, whether you're successful or not, as long as you take the path, Allah is going to make for you easier path to Jannah. That's amazing. So it doesn't necessarily matter about if you had gained the knowledge or not. Another thing that's very important is you have to realize that the gaining knowledge is a daily thing, every day. Some scholars used to mention, like Imam Abu Hanifa, rahimahullah, if you were to learn 3 masail, 3 issues of knowledge each day, learn 3 new things. That's what you need a day, 3 new things. How many is that in a year? Some scholars said, okay, 3, just 1. If you learn 1 thing a day. But if you were just learn 1 new thing of your religion a day, where are you going to be 1 year from now? You have 360 or 365 more issues than you had what?
Before.
So it's not a race. That's why the scholar said, Man rama al-ilma jumla, dhahaba anhu jumla. That whoever tries to take the knowledge all at once, it goes from all at once. Wow. It has to be, the nights and days you have to constantly be taking the knowledge. It's a constant thing. A beautiful story, one of the scholars, one of the students of knowledge, who he felt that subhanAllah, after all the years of seeking knowledge, he hadn't reached his potential. He hadn't reached where he was supposed to be. And he needed to, he felt he wanted to quit. So he said, khalas, this talab al-ilm, seeking knowledge, he said, enough with it. So I've been doing it all my years, I don't understand. And he said that he went and traveled outside of the city, and he sat next to a stream just to kind of reflect. And he was very upset after all these years he put into it. He felt that he hadn't benefited. So he sat down, and sometimes when something small in your life happens to you, it's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he's sitting next to this stream, and there's a bit of water on the side. It comes off like a drop onto this rock. Just one drop, and then a few seconds later another drop. It's just small drops. But he looks down at this huge rock, which is under the water, and a hole has now opened up in this rock. From what?
One drop.
From the drop. Yeah. One drop, and then a little bit later another drop. And he said, if this one small drop can affect this huge rock, then what about me?
Yeah.
So he realized just from seeing that this is the knowledge, that it's a consistent thing. It's a consistent thing. So if you're consistent and you have a sincerity and you do it in the right way, and I would recommend for yourself and for all of the viewers is to read one of the books that the scholars have written about how to seek knowledge. And one of the best books that have been written in our time is written by Sheikh Bakr Abu Zayd. It's called Hilyat Talib al-Ilm.
Hilyat Talib
al-Ilm.
In English?
In English, the adornment of the student of knowledge, or something like that. I can't remember the exact name, but if you write in Bakr Abu Zayd, it's student of knowledge, something like that, it'll come up. But it's something like the adornment of the student of knowledge in English. Even if you write in Arabic, it should come out. Hilyat Talib al-Ilm, it'll come out, inshallah. And our Sheikh Ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahullah, he explained the entire book. That's how good it is, the book. Amazing book, and it'll show you how to do it and how the scholars should do it, and this will help you, inshallah ta'ala.
Before Ibn Taymiyyah, this book maybe?
No, there's in our time, from the scholars from our time, he wrote the book.
I want to hear a translation of the Quran. That's Ta'alu ila kalimatin sawabaina wa bainakum. That's how is the complete part and the translation that I want to hear from you.
You have the translation to go back to Alhamdulillah. It's easy to go back to Alhamdulillah.
That's just to clarify by every time by Dr. Zakir Naik in his Peace TV channel. There's the voice.
Alhamdulillah.
Sheikh, one brother questioned me right now. He asked about the slaughter on his Qurban or Zibah like this. He asked he have a bank loan, but either he give this slaughter or Zibah or not, even he have the service benefit more than his bank loan. So he can give this animal of...
The last part is what? The service what?
He had the service benefits, but not with him. He is working in company, and in company he have the service benefit more than his bank loan.
What's the bank loan? You have to understand, there's two different types of loans. There's loans you have to pay right now, and there's loans you're paying with installments.
With installment, he is paying.
Installments, no problem. If you have more money, because then you can slaughter, no problem.
And then we can slaughter.
Yeah, no problem. Even now, this question comes for people who want to go for Hajj, and they say, because I can't go for Hajj because I have a loan. You have to pay attention. What is the type of loan? There's a loan that, for example, is due right now. Dr. Abdullah, for example, he mentioned 30,000 riyals. So let's say I took a loan from him, 30,000 riyals, okay? Hajj comes, and I want to go, and I'm supposed to pay him back at this time next year with Hajj. I want to go for Hajj. Now here, can I go for Hajj and I owe him 30,000? No, because it's one. Now here, it's his right. And his right is more important than my Hajj. So I have to give him back his money. Unless I say, can you give me another 2 or 3 months? And he says yes, from the goodness of his heart, then that's permissible.
He gave permission to you.
Yeah. But let's say, for example, if I took the 30,000, and I say, look, Yahi, I'm going to pay you back 1,000 riyals each month.
Each month.
Until it finishes. And it's going to be like, what, 2.5 years?
We had a deal.
About 2.5 years. So next year when I come for Hajj time, it's no problem. Because the 1,000 is still going to him. So you can't come and say, no, you can't go for Hajj, you still have a loan. No, because it's a monthly thing. The only loan that prevents you from doing certain acts of worship, it would be the loan that's due now, and the only money that you have is that money. So let's say, for example, if the Qurbani costs, let's say, 800 riyals, and you owed somebody 800, no, here you say you have to give him his 800, because it's due now. But if it's due in 2 months, no, you can still slaughter. So that situation is not a problem. That's very important that people understand this, because they get confused all the time about that they can't do actions because they have a loan. So if it's a monthly installment and you're paying, it's no problem whatsoever. So if it's a loan that's due later, it's no problem, inshallah ta'ala.
Sheikh, another question that I have, like many people, both here and also among our viewers, I'm a da'i, I'm a student of knowledge,
but I found out that a big chunk of my time is devoted. I don't want to call them debates, but that's basically what they are. Some people, they will attack the sheikh that I believe in, and I will answer them back, and it will go on for a while. It will die down, and then it will resurface again. So this occupies about 20% of my time. What do you think? Should I answer these people? Should I ignore them? What is the correct way to do these things?
Yeah, this unfortunate, this is an event that happened, and it's rather new in the Ummah, and it actually attacked the da'wah of Ahl Sunnah and Jama'ah.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened after the what do you call it? The Gulf War, where different groups separated and they had different opinions on certain things. And you'll find, subhanAllah, that actually the groups, they agree on like almost 97, 98% of the things, and just one or two issues they disagree upon. And then, but this led to feuding and led to disputes and what have you. And that's what you found, that people, they waste the time. Something amazing, I'll tell you, one of the scholars who taught me, Sheikh Abdul Razak al-Badr, and he's the son of a great scholar, the scholar of Medina, Sheikh Abdul Muhsin al-Abbad.
Okay.
SubhanAllah, there was a debate about some issue of Iman. And some people said this, and there's another fatwa that said this. And I was asking the Sheikh as we were coming out for Salat al-Fajr, because he had lived right across the street from me at that time. We were coming out, and I asked him, I said, Sheikh, this has become a big debate between the youth, and it's, taking a lot of their time. And he said something amazing. He said, obviously, he mentioned to me a hadith that showed very clearly that the actions are from the Iman. So it's not even really an issue to debate. That absolutely, because some people were saying that even if you don't act, as long as you believe in your heart, then you're a believer, which is not true. It's against the aqidah of Ahl Sunnah Jama'ah. So he said it's very clear, this issue. But he's told me something very important. That's what I want to focus on here. He said that Imam Ibn al-Qayyim mentioned something amazing in his book Al-Fawaid. He said, أي علم لا يزيد المرء به إيمانا فهو علم مدخول. Any knowledge that doesn't increase the person in Iman, that it's a type of knowledge that has something entered upon it, meaning what entered on the niyyah. That the niyyah is not pure is what it means. You understand? A madkhul entered upon the niyyah, which is made, so it's made the actions impure. He said, subhanAllah, many of these youth and our brothers who are debating these issues, he said they stay awake till very late at night. And they don't get up and pray Fajr in the congregation in the masjid. He said, well, I mean it. He said, we know. He said, right now, me and the Shaykh, we're walking to Salat al-Fajr together. And he said, you'll find many of them, they don't, and I know this from them. You'll see even a lot of them had lived around us, and when they didn't come to Fajr, but they're up at night debating, and you'll find them on the internet and refuting this one, refuting that one, and they don't come and pray Fajr in the masjid. We're talking about in a Muslim country living close to the masjid as well. So no excuse, right, for the man to be in the masjid. So subhanAllah, he said, that these people are doing this thing, you'll find these people a lot of time, they're wasting so much time, and this has a negative effect on one's Iman. It really brings the Iman down. So if it's not increasing your Iman, it's not true knowledge. So the best thing with these type of people, I've always advised myself and others, is that not to even give them the time of day. And what happens with these groups who talk about others all the time, debate others, they say that, immediately if you give them fuel to their fire, they're going to continue to spread and continue. But if you don't, because that's what they are, they're on fire.
Even last week we used it downstairs. We were using, one of the brothers was, a few of the brothers were having a conversation on the balcony.
Yeah.
And the drone just, went away as far as it could, and you can still see them and hear them as clear as just sitting in front of them.
Yeah, what do you think
But
about
what I don't understand, why we are using a drone today?
Okay, so our location here is really beautiful, as you can see.
Yeah.
The swimming pool, there's some palm trees, you have the mountain in the backdrop. So I think that's pretty beautiful. And I think basically we have a Tanawa in Arabic word for, changing things up, shaking things up a little bit.
Okay.
Change is good, and obviously, in the same setting every day, years of home get a lot really boring.
Right.
And there's a hadith that loves that if you do something, you do it in the best way possible.
Correct. Yeah.
So when we look at television stations, and the kids and the parents are always complaining, they're like, oh, my kids watch this, my kids watch that. Well, we have to give them another alternative. If we don't give them another alternative, then we should stop whining. We should at least own up to that. You know what? We don't work hard enough on Islamic television channels. Might as well just succumb to the pressures. Or we could change things up, work really hard. We good now? Is it good? Yeah. Good, good, okay. So, I mean, so we basically have two options. One is to continue whining and not do anything to change. But the other option is we work on Islamic television, channels like Huda, Iqtala, Lens TV, Peace TV. Technically, we're naming competitors. That's what's so beautiful about Islam, that, you know, even the people, the other Islamic TV channels that are, they're pandering to the same audience. They're our friends, they're our brothers in Islam.
You even see it in that, you actually see this out and about in the streets. You see a whole line of shops that all sell the exact same thing. You know, it could be, for example, fruit and veg, side by side, different shops. Could be electrical goods side by side, selling the exact same thing. But at the end of the day, it's a risk. If Allah has decided this person to come to your shop, that person will provide the risk that Allah has sent your way. So, I mean, there's no competition like, oh, why did you go to his shop, you not come to my shop? If Allah has caused this man to bring money to you as for your risk, then that's Allah's plan, you know? So we can't be upset that someone went to his shop and didn't come to my shop, you know?
But at the same time, you do your best, you work your hardest, and the harder you work, the more you get. For the most part, unless you're being tested.
Right.
In which case, tough. Okay, so that's good. Let's talk a little bit about, we had plans of barbecuing. So,
yeah, I think so.
But I don't know what ended up happening about that. But how many of us can cook here, and what do you cook?
No experience
to be the
barbecue.
responsible.
Yeah.
I need help.
You need help, okay. So you cook?
So what's happening? I used to cook.
You used to cook. What do you used to cook?
Spanish food, paella,
Paella.
española,
Nice.
gazpacho.
Yeah. My mic?
But I mean, I'm not.
What?
I cannot consider myself a cook.
Okay. It's just.
I like cooking.
Should I bring it this way? Now, is it on? Is it on? What? Yeah, I'm asking them to. Okay, thank you so much. So my microphone was mute. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. So you cook Spanish food, generally Spanish food.
Yeah. I tried it my best in Arabic food also. You know, when I came back to my home during Christmas, I tried to make hummus and mutabal and these things.
Okay.
And what is the name for outdoor the dish out of eggplant? Moussaka.
Moussaka?
Yes. Eggplant.
Nice.
Was not that bad, but I need to progress.
That's good.
So you have some experience in it.
Some experience.
So a question arises, because we're all men here. There are some cultures that look down upon, that frown upon men cooking or working in the kitchen. And there are some cultures that say, no, it's au contraire, it's something really beautiful. It should be done more often. So I just want to get your opinions about men helping in the house. Obviously, there's the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in which one of the Ummahat al-Mu'mineen said, كان يخدم في البيت. He used to, like, the word khadam or yukhdim is like almost serve, like a servant. Yukhdim fil bayt. So he used to work really hard in the house. So if I could just, since we're on the topic of barbecue, if I could get everybody to tell me what they think about men taking part, helping out in the kitchen and cooking.
It depends, like in my situation, living here, my wife and I have 2 children here. If we were living in the UK, then people around, extended members of family can help. So for example, maybe the children are playing with their cousins.
They both work and they have to exchange it by force.
But here, it's just me, my wife, and the children. So if my wife is busy taking care of the children all the time, I can't just sit back and do nothing.
Exactly.
I can't. Because it's extremely unfair for my wife to be left to be left with the children, taking care of them, and cooking, and cleaning, and la 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 la. So I have to. I feel ashamed if I didn't contribute to helping in the house. Cooking is not my strong point, I admit, but even the children, Daddy, make me pasta, that I can do. Simple,
Mashallah.
But when it comes to good food, that's my wife's department, alhamdulillah. If it's just something to fill the stomach, then I can do that. That's no problem.
That's good. How about you, brother?
I think what the hadith that he just gave is the best example that for us, doesn't matter what background, what tradition we come from, should actually break that barrier.
Yes.
It doesn't matter who says what.
Break the
And
barrier.
we should only listen to what Allah and Rasulullah say. If we are there to help our wives, our mothers, what is better than that? I mean, there's hajr in it. There's nothing else. As much as we can, because like what Abdurrahim said, even if you have children, that children is not just responsibility of wife to work at home and to look after the children. And a lot of things, they have much busier job than we do. I mean, sometimes we say that, oh, we are going to office and I'm tired or this, but they have much harder job.
Yes,
I mean,
much more stressful.
Spending the time with kids is not easy.
Stressful.
Just looking after the house, cleaning and all these things are not easy.
Correct.
So whenever we are there, as much as we can, we should be helping them and supporting them. Me, myself, to be very honest with you, because I'm busy most of the time in office, but when I'm in the weekends or even coming at night time, as much as I can, I actually help my wife, whether even if it's cleaning the house or whatever is needed, I actually do that. Because I grown up in a family. At that time, at the beginning, we are 5 brothers and I have 1 sister, which is the youngest one. So at the time, we didn't have sister or anyone. So it was just my mother and us brothers. And all of us brothers, we used to actually help our mother in cleaning the dishes, cleaning the house.
That was the worst.
Whatever we could
Cleaning
do.
the dishes when I was young, that was the worst job.
I love it. I love it, honestly. It's not bad. I mean, anything that, I'll tell you actually, it doesn't matter what you do in life, if it's the smallest
For me,
thing
it's laundry.
to...
The dishes were okay, but the laundry's always enough.
But that's the thing, look, even if it's the smallest things of cleaning the dishes, okay? It actually gives you one good lesson in what good habit in your life as well. Look, I don't mind cleaning the dishes, but at the same time also I like clean things.
Yes.
You know, for example, if I see rubbish, I go and pick it up. Because as a child, that habit stays with you. Whatever good you do, that's the thing about goodness. You know, whatever good you do, it's something that you pick up and Allah puts it in you. And what else? I mean, even like picking up something from that could harm someone else or even looks bad, I believe in itself could you receive ajr from Allah Ta'ala.
So, Jazakallah khair, your response is very refreshing as well as is yours. My own experience, I'm not married, I'm single, but I had the opportunity of staying with my sister for a whole summer this past summer in New York on Long Island. And my brother-in-law was busy. He actually was working upstate in a city called Rochester. And then he moved around here and there, and because he had to, for his job, he had to fly a lot outside the country. So that was the time when I got to actually figure out what moms go through. Because it was only her, and my sister was very sick in those times, so a lot of it came on my shoulders. And I realized, wait a second, did my mom have to do all of this? And it was at that point where I remembered the ayah, وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا إِمَّا يَبْلُغَنَّ عِندَكَ الْكِبْرَ أَحَدُهُمَا أَوْ كِلَاهُمَا فَلَا تَقُل لَهُمَا أُفٍّ وَلَا تَنْهَرْهُمَا. So it's that God commands you, He has written down that there's only one thing you have to do, أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ, that you don't worship anyone except Him. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always speaks in إثبات والنفي. So He says that you do something, and then at the same time He says, and you don't do something else. So even the shahada, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, there is no God, that's the nafi, there's no God. Illallah is the ithbat. Muhammadur Rasulullah is also the ithbat. So you disbelieve in something, meaning that you say that you disbelieve in everything except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you believe in something, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it was in this ayah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Allah ta'budu, that you don't worship anything except Him, and then He adds another ithbat. وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا, and that you have this ihsan, which is the perfect level. Perfection is husna, al-hasan, we mentioned this in the lecture last night. So that you have to be perfect with your parents, because your parents did all of that for you when you were young. They went through all of that when you were younger. So I was able to see that firsthand. I was able to see, what's funny, the grandparents, meaning my parents were also there too. And what was so funny, 3 of us couldn't take care of 2 of the kids. Like 2 of the kids were too much for us, running around, picking something up. Oh, they colored on the fridge. Oh, we have to grab clean up the fridge, grab the sponge, clean up the fridge. It's hectic. And as for mom, she does all of that. or a dad, single dads also, we have, in the Muslim world we have a lot of single dads. They have to take care of all these things, and we obviously, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to strengthen them, especially on Eid, so that they could, be able to help entertain their kids, be able to give them the entertainment they need for these 3 days, inshallah, and then get back to the normal schedule. Jazakallah khair. When it comes to cooking, the best thing I cook is cereal. Nothing better than that. I used to make good burgers, chicken nugget, like chicken patty burgers, really good. But then I realized it's too fatty, and I'm getting very fat, mashallah.
So you go for something healthier.
Yeah, I will. So once Hajj is done, inshallah, I'm gonna make not kind of like a resolution, inshallah, that I'm gonna start learning how to cook healthy food, inshallah. So now we have our Sheikh Ibrahim.
Alhamdulillah.
When it comes to cooking?
When it comes to I would say I'm very good.
You're very good.
Mashallah. Good.
Mashallah.
So you're in charge of the barbecue?
You cook something for us.
I remember when I got married and there were no kids. Sometimes the wife might go out before he comes. What we plan for the evening is already
before she comes.
Yeah, already on the table. Yeah, and then also, even as at this time that we have kids, sometimes I have realized that it's changed the move in the house. So early morning, I wake up and the breakfast will be prepared.
Already?
Yeah, I'll prepare the breakfast before I call them. And at times, we used to crack joke. So today, I'll tell the kids, today I'm going to do it.
Breakfast?
Yes. Tomorrow, your mother will do it. So make your pens and paper ready. You mark me today, you mark your mother today, and we'll see who is the best.
Yeah, okay. So
and, yes. And when this scenario is created, it makes the children laugh. Some will say, Daddy, some will say, Mommy, some will say, Daddy. And it's put the family in another wonderful situation. Yeah. So, cute. And I would say there's almost all the African dishes that we are used to in our country. There's none that I cannot prepare.
Can you name a few of them?
Oh, we have fufu.
Oh, fufu. I know fufu.
Fufu.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yes. Then we have banku.
Banku.
Banku is done by, you put the maize in water for 2 days. Then you send it for milling. It will be ground by a corn mill machine. Will be ground. Okay. Then you mix it with water. You allow it to somehow ferment.
Okay.
Yeah. Then you put water on the fire.
Sure.
You fetch the quantity that you want in it, then drive it with. You have a steer. You steer it.
Wow.
And then before your banku is ready, and it goes with stew or soup, especially palm nut soup.
When I was in Senegal, not in Senegal, Stockholm, when I was in Iceland, and there was a Senegalese family that invited me for iftar, they had this. It was amazing. I don't know if it's popular in West Africa or only Senegal, but it's like you have chicken, right, all over, and then instead of rice, you have kind of like a noodles.
Yeah.
What is that? What is that dish called? Do you have something like that in Ghana?
No, we don't have. So I don't.
Instead of rice, they have noodles.
No. That might be maybe typical Senegalese dish. Yeah, maybe typical. But fufu is common for the African countries.
Can you explain for the audience what fufu is?
You see?
What?
There's a name.
No, I'm saying, can you explain to the audience what fufu is?
Oh, fufu is made up of cassava. Okay. You boil the cassava. We have a mortar, wooden mortar, and we have a pestle. That's wooden pestle too. So when the cassava is boiled with plantain, so you put the cassava in the mortar, then you pound it. It's a bit hard work, but it doesn't take much time. So you pound it. At a point, you add the plantain, the boiled plantain to it. You pound it. Once somebody is pounding it, another person is also sitting down driving it, so that you don't get a lot of boils in it. It's very, very interesting.
So it becomes like a powder?
No, it becomes like.
Sorry, it's in the water, so.
It's not in the water. You boil the cassava.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you boil the cassava.
I see.
You boil the plantain, and then you put it in the mortar, and then you be pounding it.
Okay.
So it becomes like a bit starchy.
Yes, yes.
It becomes a
Okay,
bit starchy,
okay.
yes, yes. And it goes with soup. It can be palm nut soup. Palm nut soup is prepared from palm nut fruit, palm fruit.
Okay.
Yeah, or granule soup. Then we have what we call light soup. Light soup that is prepared by garden eggs, tomato, and some fish.
Can the viewers look it up at home?
Oh yes.
And they have the recipes.
Yes.
But it sounds like it takes a little bit of effort to make this.
Oh yes, yes.
It's not just making any other soup, because soup usually, takes a few minutes. And
And this one, for instance, palm nut soup will take you, prepared palm nut soup will take you not less than 1 hour.
Okay.
Not less than 1 hour. Granule soup will also take you not less than 1 hour.
What about the taste?
They taste wonderful.
Wonderful. So
Wonderful.
it's worthwhile of going through all this trouble and then
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
And I wish you have a chance to visit me in Ghana one day, so that I'll make you to have a taste of this.
I would love to. I would love to.
We will have a chance, inshallah, to eat it with you in Riyadh.
Really.
Yes.
So, mi hermano,
Sí.
explain a few of the foods for the viewers who haven't been introduced to Spanish food yet.
Yeah.
What are enchiladas? What are those different?
The Spanish cuisine is really very rich. We have many different dishes from the north to the south. Paella. Paella is spread all around the country, and we have different recipes. We cannot say which one is the original.
Okay.
Out of fish, out of meat, out of rabbit meat, chicken. There are so many different ones. And in the north, especially, we have many dishes based on fish. Very rich. And of course, in the south, I don't know if you heard about gazpacho. It's a cold soup.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Out of vegetables and olive oil. Tortilla de patatas is one of the most popular things we have. Once I made a trip to Africa, I found it in Ethiopia, in a supermarket. They sell it as pre-cooked,
pre-cooked. Okay.
You've been to Ethiopia?
Yeah, I went
wow.
a few years ago. Yeah.
Is that the only African country you have visited?
No, Kenya and Morocco.
Oh, I see.
Basically this. Yeah, and
So Morocco, it's interesting you mentioned Morocco. Morocco is part of Africa.
Yes.
And yet, for some reason, we never think of it as an African country.
Yeah, yes.
And I think this has to do with, it shows how humans are so limited and how we can be influenced by the media often. And we can be influenced by our ideas of what it means, definitions, nomenclature, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, Egyptians are also African, too.
Yeah.
No
one ever
I didn't mention Egypt. I was there like 7 times.
Exactly.
You've been there for about 7 times.
Yeah, correct.
True.
Or Tunisia, Nigeria.
Tunisia, Sudan, and South Africa.
Sudan?
Yeah.
Sudan, yes? Sudan, definitely. So, I mean, I guess it has to do with...
Sudan is
Are you sure that's not Iraq?
Yeah. North and south.
Yeah, both north and south Sudan, yeah. Both north and south.
So many so far.
So what is the most popular?
Most popular?
Takes a lot of skills to
Spain is known by the paella. Paella. You have to, the base is the rice. And first you have to make cook vegetables with olive oil. Boil them, basically. Tomato, pepper, and you can have special beans also. And then once it's cooked, you add the meat or the fish, because it's the thing that is getting, the rice is getting the flavor from. It's very important. The meat you are using. The spices is basically saffron only. Saffron, and some people put pepper, but it's not needed. There are many different versions.
Never about meat. It's about the whole channel. It needs to be... I muted myself, but
you can. I know some people who add pepper, like black pepper or but the paella shouldn't be spicy. I mean, in Spain we don't have we have like some kind of pepper, spicy, like we call it pimentón. This is spicy. Can be spicy or sweet or medium spicy, and but basically this is what we have for spices. It's not very rich like Indian or African food. I remember when I was in Ethiopia, they have like they serve you like in a round bread, different spices, some meat, but basically are spices, and you use the bread to eat it, to taste it, and some of them are really spicy.